I'm Judith. The snow is falling softly outside the hospital window, and inside, the air is filled with the familiar hum of machines and the soft murmur of voices. I'm sitting beside my sister, Lily, as she cradles her newborn son, Noah, in her arms. The sight of them together fills me with a sense of peace and joy that I haven't felt in a long time. It all started on a sweltering August day in Chicago. I was a surgeon at the University Medical Center, and the weight of a recent tragedy was heavy on my shoulders. A young girl, Emily, had died during a surgery that I had been reluctantly roped into. Her parents were convinced that I was responsible, and they were threatening to sue the hospital. I knew the truth was more complicated, but it didn't make the guilt any easier to bear. That evening, as I was crossing the bridge over the Chicago River, I saw a young woman in a wedding dress climbing the railing. Without thinking, I ran towards her, but it was too late. She jumped into the water, and I didn't hesitate to follow. I managed to pull her to safety, but I knew something was wrong. She was disoriented and had no memory of what had happened. I took her back to my apartment, and the next morning I noticed a scar on her knee that I recognized. I had stitched it myself almost a year ago on a patient who had been brought in by a group of bikers. It was then that I realized that the woman in the wedding dress was the same girl I had saved before. At the hospital, a series of tests revealed that she had been drugged with high levels of psychotropic medication. Her name was Lily, and she told me a harrowing story of abuse and betrayal. She had grown up in the foster system, bouncing from one home to another. One night, she had saved an elderly man from a group of attackers, and he had taken her under his wing. When he died, he left her his entire fortune, including a successful business. Shortly after her wedding to her husband, Mark, Lily began to experience strange symptoms. Mark insisted that she see a psychiatrist who diagnosed her with schizophrenia. But Lily knew something was wrong. She suspected that Mark was trying to have her declared insane so that he could get his hands on her money. I believed Lily, and I promised to help her. We worked together to gather evidence against Mark, and eventually, we were able to catch him in the act. He was arrested for administering controlled substances without consent and for attempted fraud. Lily was finally free from his grasp, and she was able to start the process of healing. As I got to know Lily better, I began to notice some similarities between our stories. We both had difficult childhoods, and we had both struggled to find our place in the world. One day, I decided to look into my own past. I had always known that I was adopted, but I had never had the courage to find out more about my biological parents. After some research, I discovered that my biological mother had given birth to a second child, a daughter, 2 years after I was taken away. The child had been placed in the foster system, and her name was Lily. I couldn't believe it. Lily was my sister. I was terrified to tell Lily the truth. I didn't know how she would react, and I was afraid that it would be too much for her to handle. But I knew that I had to be honest with her. One afternoon, I sat her down and showed her the evidence. At first, she didn't believe me. She thought it was some kind of cruel joke. But as she looked at the documents, the color drained from her face. She realized that it was true. We hugged each other tightly, and we both cried. It was a moment of pure joy and relief. We had finally found each other, and we were no longer alone. From that day on, our bond grew stronger. We supported each other through the ups and downs of life, and we became a family. As the months passed, Lily's pregnancy progressed, and she grew more and more excited about becoming a mother. I was there for her every step of the way, offering my support and encouragement. And then, one winter night, the snow was falling softly over Chicago when Lily went into labor. The labor was long and difficult, and there were several moments when I thought we were going to lose her. But Lily was strong, and she fought through the pain. In the end, she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, Noah. As I watched Lily hold Noah in her arms, I felt a sense of pride and happiness that I had never felt before. I knew that our family was complete, and I was grateful for every moment that we had together. Looking back on everything that has happened, I realize that life is full of unexpected twists and turns. We all have our own struggles and challenges, but we don't have to face them alone. With love, support, and a little bit of courage, We can overcome anything. And in the end, the most important thing is the people we love and the relationships we build. Now, as I sit here beside Lily and Noah, I know that everything is going to be okay. We have each other, and that's all that matters. The past is behind us, and the future is full of possibilities. And I'm ready to face whatever comes our way, together.